of 135,765 square kilometers, bordered to the north by Tennessee, to the east by Georgia, to the south by Florida and the Gulf of Mexico, and to the west by Mississippi. This is a place that once ignited the flames of power struggles, and is also the birthplace of the soulful and country melodies that captivate the world. Additionally, this state boasts pristine white beaches along the Gulf of Mexico and dense forests adjacent to and beneath the Appalachian Mountains. But Alabama doesn't just showcase the richness of nature, it also conceals countless unique details about culture, science, and daily life, hidden behind the familiar facade of an American state that seems ordinary or other surprising and fascinating things. The name Alabama originates from Native Americans. The name Alabama is not just a geographical marker but also reflects a layer of cultural, linguistic, and historical sediment of the American South. According to many scholars, Alabama originates from the language of the Muskogee Native Americans, also known as the Creeks. Means weeds or plants, wild. Alabamas. This implies the indigenous communities who live by clearing and cultivating this land since ancient times. However, the origin of this word is not entirely consistent. Some other scholars believe that the word Alabama may come from the way neighboring tribes describe the local indigenous communities themselves. But regardless of the interpretation, the common point remains the connection to the indigenous identity, those who once occupied and shaped the land before the wave of European migration. By the 16th century, the Spanish began exploring this territory, followed by the French establishing a colony in the 17th century. From here, the name Alabama also became more popular and gradually took shape on official maps. The interesting part is that when the state officially joined the United States in 1819, the name Alabama not only became an administrative identifier but was also tied to a tumultuous historical process. From indigenous land through territory, and becoming a center in the Civil War and the Civil Rights Movement. Little River Canyon National Preserve. This is a national preserve located near the city of Fort Payne in the Little River. The canyon was formed by water from the river carving through Lookout Mountain, creating a deep, narrow canyon with steep cliffs and whitewater rapids, both fierce and poetic. This rare geomorphic feature has made Little River Canyon a raw gem of the American South, attracting not only geology and ecology researchers but also adventurous tourists. But the value of the preserve doesn't stop at its scenic beauty. It is also home to a diverse ecosystem with many rare plant and animal species, including some that survive only in the southeastern United States. This richness highlights the role of Little River Canyon as a biological reservoir, contributing to maintaining the regional ecosystem. Therefore, establishing the National Preserve was an important step in long-term conservation strategy, facing threats of degradation from mining and urban development. From another perspective, this place also becomes a site for local residents to connect with nature, and a venue for recreational activities such as hiking, climbing, and kayaking. In the modern context, where urbanization, speed, and economic pressures have blurred natural values, this preserve is a sharp reminder of the importance of preserving natural heritage. It can be said that this is not just a scenic spot in Fort Payne, but also a symbol of the aspiration to balance exploitation and conservation, development and so that future generations still have the chance to witness the grandeur of pristine nature in the American South. Hidden in the northern mountains of Alabama, the Sandstone Arch is located in Natural Bridge Park, measuring 45 meters long and 18 meters high. This is the longest natural bridge east of the Rocky Mountains. What's even more special is that the bridge is estimated to be around 200 million years old, a span of time far beyond many people's imagination. Thus, the bridge holds a fascination for researchers and many tourists alike. It reminds us of the endurance of nature compared to the fleeting flow of human life, while showcasing the miraculous creativity of natural elements such as water, wind, and time. Every crack, every layer of rock is a page of history recording the tectonic journey over millions of years. Additionally, the natural bridge enriches Alabama's tourism map. especially in the context of the southern states, often noted for their rich history, and the presence of such a geological wonder has brought a fresh perspective. Thus, this is not merely a magnificent rock formation. Its enduring strength of Alabama and of the ability to connect the distant geological past with present human life. This island is located at the gateway to Alabama's Mobile Bay, long hailed as the state's sunset capital, where each evening, the sky is painted red like a giant canvas by nature itself. Not only romantic in beauty, Dolphin Island also holds special historical and cultural values. It is home to Fort Gaines, a famous fort linked to the Battle of Mobile Bay in 1864, one of the significant confrontations in the American Civil War. The island's value extends beyond historical elements. With its strategic geographical location and diverse landscape, it has become the center of ecological life in the coastal region. The long stretches of white sand beaches, mangrove forests, and rich flora have made the island an ideal destination for those longing to explore nature. It is also one of the important stopovers for migratory birds, helping place Dolphin on the International Ecological Research. Moreover, the sunset capital scene is not only aesthetic but also evokes a spiritual aspect. Dolphin Island has become a place where people seek balance between the noise of modern life and the tranquility of nature. The sunset casts its glow over the old structures of Fort Gaines, reflecting shadows on the vast waters like a bridge connecting past and present. The bioluminescence phenomenon is This is one of the most unique scenic spots in the American South, where geography and biology blend to create a space both majestic and mystical. Topographically, this canyon is formed in the ancient sandstone region of Alabama, with steep cliffs, deep crevices, and a complex cave system. Weathering processes and water flow over millions of years have created a distinctive geological landscape, evoking a sense of wilderness while revealing the long evolutionary history of the Earth. What gives Dismal Canyon its special fame is not only its impressive cliffs, but also the brilliantly glowing insects. These are rare bioluminescent larvae. They emit a magical blue light in the darkness. This bioluminescent phenomenon transforms the canyon into an otherworldly realm, leading many to imagine a miniature starry sky nestled within the earth. Dismal is also one of the very few places in the world, alongside a few caves in New Zealand, where this rare natural phenomenon can be witnessed. It has also been used to film several segments of the documentary When Dinosaurs Roamed America. But to witness this magical light display, visitors must come during two brief seasons, from late April to May and late September to October. Limited night tours led by local guides take visitors along a 2.4 kilometers trail past Secret Falls and Rainbow Falls, where shimmering light reflects off the water and damp rocks, creating an extremely mystical scene. Bangor Cave, the first underground nightclub. This cave is located in Blount County, not only a natural monument but also a vivid testament in a special period of American social history. The Prohibition era lasted from 1920 to 1933, when the production, sale, and consumption of alcoholic beverages were outlawed. However, a historical milestone occurred in 1937, when businessman J. Great Moose Grove attracted investors to put up $70,000 to transform Bangor Cave into an underground nightclub in the state's only speakeasy. From then on, it became Sassy Oasis, where the elite of Long Spring sought entertainment, after their resort was destroyed in an explosion in 1915. But that glory ended when Governor Bill Graves listed it among the notorious hellholes. The site was raided by Sheriff Ed Miller in August 1937. To confiscate gambling tables and arrest numerous people, leading to its closure in 1939. Today, Bangor Cave is no longer the secret nightclub, but its historical value still resonates. It not only reflects a harsh period in the vitality of American society, but also shows the ability to transform natural spaces by human hands. More than just a cave, Bangor is evidence of the intersection of nature, culture, and history, leaving a unique legacy in Alabama's collective memory. A fairyland in autumn. When autumn stretches across the state of Alabama, the scenery here seems to mount a new coat, both vibrant and serene, making famous parks unmissable stops. Among them, Oak Mountain State Park and Monticello State Park are two representative slices in the autumn nature scene, where humans and the heavens needed a mesmerizing seasonal transition. Speaking of Oak Mountain State Park, it has the largest area in the state at 40.2 square and is located south of Birmingham. This park was established in 1927 through the State Lands Act, and from 1934 to 1941, it was developed by the Civilian Conservation Corps, with stone bridges and old foundations. Entering autumn, the park becomes a land flooded with red, orange, and yellow hues. From maple, oak, and birch groves, that scene reflects onto the clear lake surface, creating a picturesque space where visitors can wander on forest trails, feel the crunch of dry leaves underfoot, and breathe the crisp air thick with the scent of wood and earth. Meanwhile, Monticello State Park carries a more serene and ancient beauty, situated on a mountaintop in an area of only 8.7 square kilometers, yet offering a panoramic view over where autumn seems painted with natural colors. The vibrant forest canopies blend with early morning mist, creating a space both mystical and romantic. Entering the park, one seems to step into a realm of memory, where nature and culture intertwine, offering an experience both intimate and sacred. The beauty of both has turned autumn in Alabama into a fairyland, not only through the colorful beauty, but also how nature brings people into a state of tranquility. Ave Maria Grotto, the Miracle of Coleman. This is a religious art masterpiece, located on the grounds of St. Bernard Abbey in Coleman. The work is a living collection with 125 miniature models recreating famous religious structures worldwide, from St. Peter's Basilica in Rome to the Shrine of Our Lady of Lourdes or the Tower of Babel in the Bible, even ancient Jerusalem. Notably, this masterpiece also uses waste materials, such as broken bricks, seashells, and old porcelain, to transform trash into sacred symbols. The creator of this unique work was Joseph Zodel, a hunchback Benedictine monk. He was born in 1878 in Bavaria, Germany, then immigrated to the United States at age 13 and later became disabled after an accident, which prevented him from becoming a priest. While working a monogamous job of operating the monastery's electric furnace, he wanted to keep himself busier by spending 17 hours a day recreating rock walls on the monastery ground. From there, models gradually took shape, though sometimes slightly disproportionate with oversized towers or fragile walls, yet they conveyed a strange real. The central part is an artificial grotto with faint limestone stalactites and a statue of the Virgin Mary, creating a space. To this day, the Ave Maria Grotto is not only a religious heritage site but was also listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1984 and the Alabama Register of Landmarks and Heritage in 1976. The place attracts visitors through its unique blend of history, recycled art, and a humanistic message. It is a beauty that can arise from the most mundane things. Today, it reminds us of the vitality of faith in the modern world, where the religious past so quietly permeates, providing reflection on spiritual origins. Never Sink Lake, a hidden gem of Alabama. Amid the limestone hills of Alabama, Never Sink Lake emerges as a powerful testament to nature's wonders, both mysterious and containing rare geological and ecological value. It is no coincidence this place is called Alabama's hidden gem, as only upon arrival can visitors fully appreciate the spectacular beauty of a giant sinkhole with a surface diameter of 12 meters, where the lake has a diameter of about 30 meters and a depth of over 49 meters, creating a scene both fierce and gentle. The special allure of Never Sink lies not only in its size and near perfect shape but also in the fusion of rock, water, and vegetation. On the damp limestone walls and green moss, ferns claim and thrive, forming vibrant layers of color contrasting with a cold gray soil. In spring, wildflowers bloom brilliantly on the sinkhole's rim, while in summer, delicate waterfalls transform the place into a picture. Never Sink is not only visually beautiful but also holds special scientific and conservation significance. It is a habitat for many endemic species of flora and fauna and plays a crucial role in the region's Therefore, Neversink is managed by the Southeastern Cape Conservancy to preserve its pristine state and sustainability. Protecting this place serves to preserve both a geological wonder and a part of Alabama's natural identity, where nature remains largely untouched by human hands. But it must be emphasized that cave mining exploration activities are only for certified professional cavers. Gateway to the Moon. When mentioning milestones that changed human history, the journey to conquer the moon is always considered one of the most brilliant symbols. And on the back of that legacy, the city of Huntsville in Alabama stands out as a gateway that led humanity into space, thanks to the presence of the U.S. Space and Rocket Center. This is not just a museum displaying space artifacts, but also a place that vividly recreates the process of persistent labor, creative intelligence, and humanity. This center is closely tied to the history of the Saturn V rocket development, the symbol that carried Apollo astronauts to the moon. It was here that engineers, scientists, and rocket experts diligently researched, laying the foundation for America's modern space industry. This also transformed Huntsville from the Cotton City into the Rocket City of the state. Furthermore, giant rocket models, spacecraft replicas, and hands-on experience programs like Space Camp have turned this place into a living classroom for the younger generation. From children to teenagers, they not only see history but also train skills and nurture dreams of becoming the next space explorers. Sprinkling salt on railroad tracks was punishable by death. At first glance, sprinkling salt on railroad tracks might seem harmless, but in the 19th century, this act was once considered a serious crime punishable by death. This was a period when railroads played a vital role to the state of Alabama, with trains carrying cotton, goods, and passengers. While salt seemed harmless, it became a dangerous weapon because it attracted livestock like cattle and horses to gather and lick the tracks, leading to catastrophic accidents, derailing trains, causing property damage and loss of life. Additionally, salt could pose safety risks and potentially damage railroad infrastructure. In an era when railroad technology was still nascent, even a seemingly minor action could cause serious accidents, threatening hundreds of lives. Therefore, criminalizing this behavior with the death penalty reflected the logic of a society that prioritized public safety absolutely. But looking more broadly, we see that regulation was also a product of a deterrent mindset, where the state was forced to choose severity to maintain discipline in a context where the legal system was not sophisticated enough to classify. Instead of just administrative penalties or handling based on damage levels, the law imposed the ultimate penalty to eliminate any possibility. That is how a society operated under unstable conditions, where traffic security was not just a technical issue but also. Today, this law is merely a legal relic, and no one is executed for sprinkling salt, but it still leaves warnings about actions to protect us. Selling peanuts is illegal. Among the strange laws of Alabama, the regulation prohibiting the sale of peanuts between midnight on Tuesday and dawn on Wednesday is perhaps one. Because peanuts are a key crop of the state, with an area of about 648 square kilometers and ranking first in national output with 181,400,000, and it is also the birthplace of the National Peanut Festival. However, when viewed through the lens of history, this seemingly absurd law reflects the intersection of community living habits and the desire to. This ban was not aimed at eliminating the agricultural product but at controlling street vending activities, which could cause public disorder. Peanut sellers often gathered at markets, squares, even outside churches or political events, making this activity not only economic but also touching on aspects of security and order. From another perspective, looking at the context of Alabama in the early 20th century, which was heavily conservative, we see that the above regulation also reflects a centralized and community-focused management mindset. Today, this ban has become an anecdote, mentioned as one of Alabama's strange laws. But looking back, it also reminds us that laws sometimes do not always reflect pure rationality, but also a product of anxieties and social priorities in a specific historical period. No spitting on the street. Located in the heart of the state of Alabama, Montgomery is a city that once played a pivotal role in both the political and cultural history of the American South, with its position along the Alabama River, where trade once flourished bustlingly. Montgomery embodies both the symbolism of tradition and a space heavily transformed by modernization. It is precisely within this context that strange, sometimes seemingly absurd laws emerged, and reflected how people treated public order. One of these is the regulation prohibiting sitting on the street. From the 19th century to the early 20th century, Montgomery was not a city with spacious, modern transportation like today. The narrow streets, filled with horse-drawn carriages, early automobiles, and streams of people, became an environment prone to collisions. Someone sitting in the middle of the street not only obstructed visibility but could also startle horses, leading to unexpected accidents. Therefore, this seemingly bizarre ban was actually a safety measure enacted, with the goal of minimizing risks in daily life. From a social perspective, this regulation also shows how the local government at that time attempted to control the smallest details of life, to build an image of order for the city. It also reflects a conservative mindset, wanting to minimize anything that could cause disorder, even if it was just a personal. Blue jeans are illegal. In the 1940s, North Korea banned wearing jeans because they were considered a symbol of Western culture and capitalism. By 2016, a comprehensive ban on Western-style clothing was issued, including jeans being deemed illegal. It might seem this story is only about North Korea, but right under the United States, there was a similar regulation banning people from wearing blue. This story exists on Noble Street, which was created to become the lifeblood of the city of Anniston. This was where shops, restaurants, and bowling alleys concentrated in the 1960s. It also served as a commercial and social hub and was the face of Anniston in the eyes of residents and visitors. Therefore, this space was always associated with a desire to display elegance, sophistication, and even a degree of strict. Hence, blue jeans were banned on Noble Street, especially when Levi's products sparked the blue jeans craze from the 1960s to the 1970s. The reason stems from the fact that this brand's blue jeans carried a simple image, associated with the working class, the dust of construction sites, or youth rebellion. Thus, for a street one who maintained a refined and dignified appearance like Noble, the appearance of such clothing was seen as disrupting the aesthetics and civilized order that the local government aimed for. To this day, this strange law still exists. So, if you want to stroll on Noble Street, you must ensure your jeans are not blue. Otherwise, take another route. Legalization of incestuous marriage. In popular culture, Alabama has been associated with the image of incest. Viewed through today's lens, this easily creates a scope for the controversy, but placed in the legal and social context of the past. It reflects a historical period when the legal system was not entirely bound to the universal moral standards we are familiar with. For many centuries, marriage laws in the U.S. focused mainly on religious aspects, inheritance rights, and maintaining family order rather than issues related to genetics or social norms. Therefore, regulating marital relationships within kinship was sometimes not strictly defined or was overlooked. Especially in rural areas, where communities were closed and population sizes were small, close-kinship relationships were sometimes accepted, at least legally, due to a lack of barriers to regulatory systems. Only when social awareness changed, alongside developments in medical science and genetics, was incest recognized as a risk to both public health and social morality. Therefore, modern laws in Alabama and across the U.S. strictly prohibit incest, viewing it as a violation of both morality and public health. In summary, during various stages of social development, laws have changed. Notably, the existence of past legal loopholes not only shows differences between societal development stages but also reflects how moral standards constantly evolve over time. Something once left open by law, or even legal, can become an absolute taboo in another period, and incestuous marriage, as an extreme case, is evidence in that process of evolution. It can be seen that the state of Alabama in the southern U.S. also holds many colors, both strange and interesting. From million-year-old natural wonders, giant stone bridges, glowing canyons to seemingly unbelievable stories in law or life, all contribute to the unique tapestry of this place. These are the interesting things about the state of Alabama. If you know any other interesting facts, please leave your thoughts in the comment section. Goodbye and see you in the next videos.